They sit in the shadows, these limited partners, the silent giants of the investing world. Quiet, almost invisible. And that silence? It's not just empty space. It's a storm, a tension that builds with every missed opportunity, every unspoken truth. It's that quiet voice inside screaming to be heard, but trapped inside layers of caution and old habits. Why do they stay so quiet? Because the system tells them to. Because it's safer to be invisible, to watch from afar and not shake the boat. But that silence comes at a cost. It breeds frustration, it fuels doubt, it suffocates potential. Every day spent silent is a day lost to the noise of the loud, the reckless, or worse, the indifferent. This quiet is a dangerous game. The stakes? Not just money, but the power to shape the future. Yet, they hold back. There's this invisible weight pressing down. The fear of speaking up and being labeled difficult. The endless rules that say, don't rock the boat. Stay in your lane. It feels like being trapped behind walls built from past successes, expectations, and the invisible chains of comfort. But comfort kills. It shrinks the soul. When was the last time silence ever changed anything? Who ever moved mountains by just staying still? Here's the brutal truth. Limited partners are the unseen engine behind funding, innovation, and change. But when they stay silent, they become the brakes, the blockers, the hidden resistance to progress wrapped in polite nods and carefully chosen words. They hold the key but refuse to turn the lock. And every silent day drags the future farther away. But here's the crack of light. The silence can be broken, and breaking it is not about yelling into the void. It's about owning the space, stepping into the power that every limited partner carries but rarely claims. It's about shifting from being the quiet observer to the essential disruptor. Because, make no mistake, those who dare to speak, to ask the uncomfortable questions, to challenge the polished surface, that's where the rare magic happens. Imagine the power unleashed when a limited partner moves from quiet investor to active partner, when they start demanding clarity, transparency, and courage. When they become the ones pushing founders to be honest, ruthless in their goals, relentless in their pursuit. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because the future belongs to those who shake the system, not those who watch it crumble in silence. And don't get it twisted. This is not about being reckless or loud for the sake of noise. It's about being ruthlessly authentic. About cutting through all the fluff and politeness and getting raw, honest. Saying what needs to be said, asking questions that unnerve because they challenge the comfort zone. Because comfort is a lie wrapped in soft words, and silence is the accomplice. Here's something few will tell you. Your silence is costing more than you think. It's costing innovation the chance to thrive. It's costing founders the courage to push harder. It's costing the entire investment ecosystem the evolution it desperately needs. When limited partners stay quiet, they give space to mediocre ideas dressed up in fancy pitch decks. They allow echo chambers to grow, where real risk-taking dies quietly. But it's not just about breaking the silence. It's about what happens next. The moment you decide to speak up, you change everything. Doors creak open. Founders start to feel the weight of real expectation. The conversations get tougher, rawer. Because real growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pressure. It comes from the heat of genuine challenge. And here's where it gets exciting. Silence is the enemy of clarity. Speaking up forces clarity. It forces honesty. Suddenly, numbers that seemed fine get questioned. Strategies that felt safe get dissected. This is where limited partners move from being passive financiers to active shapers of future realities. They become the spark plugs that fire up real progress. The journey isn't easy. It means rejecting old comforts, risking discomfort, and stepping into a role no one else wants to play. But consider this. What if the cost of silence is far greater than the risk of speaking up? What if the impact you could have is the difference between a startup that merely survives and one that changes the game? What if your voice could save someone from investing in a dead end, or push a founder to reach heights they didn't think possible? There's massive freedom in owning this power. Freedom from the chains of quiet approval, freedom from the anxiety of missed opportunities, freedom from being a ghost in the room. When limited partners activate this power, they don't just change their own path, they redefine the entire ecosystem. So how do you get there? First, shake off the shackles of fear. Fear of judgment, fear of standing out, fear of being too much. None of that matters when the stakes are this high. Next, embrace radical curiosity. Question everything: assumptions, strategies, partnerships. Become the relentless skeptic who asks why until there's no escape from truth. Then, practice brutal selectivity. Don't just spread capital blindly or follow trends. Align deeply with founders and ideas that match your fire. The ones who refuse to settle, who burn with a vision so bright they can't help but ignite others. That's where your impact multiplies. Here's an edge most overlook: patience. Change doesn't happen overnight. The loudest voices now might be shouting at the wind tomorrow. The long game wins every time. Patience paired with pressure. That's the unique rhythm limited partners must master. You don't rush transformation, but you don't let it stall either. There's no escape from the paradox. You must be both patient and urgent, careful but bold, silent no more, but strategic in your power. This is liberation, not just for you, but for the founders, the startups, and the entire future you help forge. Now picture this. The moment you break silence, the system feels it. The air shifts. Founders start leaning in, knowing you're serious, not just another quiet backer. Investors start to listen because your voice carries weight now. The ecosystem evolves because the silent giant is awake. This is your moment to stop being the quiet bystander, to step out of the shadows, to ignite the fire that's been waiting to burn. It's not about loudness, it's about presence. It's not about speaking just to speak, it's about moving the needle, changing the game, demanding more. You've been given a rare gift, not only money but influence. Use it. Use it to cut through noise. Use it to demand real change. Use it to become what the world desperately needs: the voice that disrupts, the hand that lifts, the partner who dares. Limited partners, your silence is dangerous. But your voice, it's revolutionary. So, stop waiting. Stop holding back. Step into the power you were born to wield. Because when you do, the world won't just listen. It will follow.